Alright, welcome everyone to the Foco Gaming Slop channel. I haven't really done a video like this in a long time. I think it has been over half a year, if I'm not mistaken. But I wanted to ramble a bit about the new Risk of Rain 2 DLC, because I know a lot of you have been asking me since I did a review on the main game, but I also did a review on Survivors of the Void. So I just want to sprinkle my opinions and thoughts out there on the internet if you care. Also, I should mention that I am a little sick, so I might sound a little weird. But let's just focus on the main course, shall we? As many of you know, I really like Risk of Rain 2. I think it's one of the best roguelikes ever created, up there with The Binding of Isaac and Spelunky. It is genuinely one of the top 3 roguelikes of all time. It's genuinely a staple of the genre. Mainly because it feels like organized chaos, if that makes sense. This game gets crazy wild, okay? But it always makes sure that you're in control, unless you stay in a stage for too long. A lot of the mechanics are just tweaked to pure perfection. Enemy spawns, items, and stacking them. The lunar items are a nice risk-reward system. A lot of hidden secrets to give you an edge. The mechanics of Risk of Rain are just tweaked to perfection so heavily that the one small change will just mess it all up. Risk of Rain came out. I liked it. 2 years later, the first DLC came out, called Survivors of the Void. I was a little worried at first, but looking back on it, they nailed this DLC. It is awesome. I love it. They didn't mess up the balance, which was my biggest worry. It didn't mess up the loot pool. It didn't add a bunch of overpowered enemies, but still, it added so much cool stuff. The characters were awesome. Void Fiend is the GOAT. The corrupted items are a really cool addition. Gup. Goddamn Gup. But then, I'm not sure how long ago, how long after, I think it's like a year or so, Hoopu sold Risk of Rain 2 to Gearbox, who were originally the publishers of it, but Hoopu didn't want to work on Risk of Rain anymore because I guess they got bored of it, which sucks because Gearbox is complete dookie. I don't like this company, but you know, I have an open mind and I wanted to give them a chance to show the community they were worthy, that they can handle the Risk of Rain 2 IP, and their first expansion just messed up the entire game. The balance of it is complete whack. They introduced glitches that wiped your save file. Excuse me? That is unacceptable. Seekers of the Storm is the name of this DLC, the second DLC of Risk of Rain 2. And it just messed up the balance of everything while introducing a buttload of bugs. Now, you can split this DLC up into 2 parts. The content of Seekers of the Storm and the game update. I played it for about 8 to 9 hours and it's a mess. But let's start with the content, okay? The content of the DLC. Compared to Survivors of the Void, which I would give Survivors of the Void maybe like a 9 out of 10. Seekers of the Storm is like maybe a 5 or a 6. They added a handful of items, but a lot of them are kinda crap and they don't synergize with characters or other items. They also just blowed up the loot pool like a lot. Instead of getting a cool bleeding item, you get an item that gives you more knockback. Why? I mean, Sailstar is fun. There is a rat that makes elites drop more items, which is really goddamn overpowered. But those are the only ones I get really excited over seeing. There is one that like teleports you around, but there is a bug where you can actually teleport into areas you aren't supposed to be in and just soft lock yourself. Come on! They also have 3 new characters. Chef is a fun short-range shotgun class, I guess, that can heal a lot by killing enemies. There is a 3rd one that I haven't unlocked yet, so I can't really speak on that one. But the main character, Seeker. I hate this guy because of his meditate ability, which is a really powerful ability, don't get me wrong, but it forces you to do this little FNF minigame like 8 times every stage, and it just drags me out of the flow of everything. It just doesn't work. This ability gives you like a permanent stat increase for the stage, but on your 8th use it also revives allies, which, if you can imagine, is really goddamn powerful. I just didn't want to do this stupid FNF thing because it just, again, it just drags me out of the entire flow of the game. It sucks. It doesn't fit into Risk of Rain. There is a new final boss, sort of, and it's completely broken. Some new stages and music, which is probably the highlight of this DLC. 16 new skins, which is actually really cool. 2 new shrines, which are alright. 2 new elite variants. One of them just sucks up your money. Yay. Only 3 new enemies, no new teleporter bosses except this big spinning asshole, which isn't really a boss. No new gimmick like the void items. This is it. It's underwhelming, honestly. They also just, like, this is one of my biggest gripe. I know it's a very personal one, but they just completely messed up the achievements, man. They can fix this still in the future patch, but the way it is now makes no sense. Like, it's such a simple concept, man. The way it used to work, okay, is that every unlock was attached to an achievement. Character, ability, item, skin, doesn't matter. If you got one, you got an achievement. New skin unlocked, that's an achievement. New ability, that's an achievement. Here in Seekers of the Storm, they have 3 achievements. 2 for unlocking the characters and 1 for defeating the new boss. What about the ones that you get for defeating Mithrix on the highest difficulty? You know, the secret skins. Why aren't they here? It's such a simple little tidbit that is so perplexing that they didn't ask. Like, a lot of these features, just this whole DLC in general feels super rushed and underbaked. It clearly wasn't ready to be pushed out yet, and it's so goddamn obvious. But again, that is just the content of this DLC. The other half, the game update, is just pure hell, and it broke everything. So from my understanding is that they tried to unify the code of Risk of Rain 2 to make it easier to port to consoles, but by doing that, they also broke a lot of stuff. Not just a few things here and there, or a handful of things. They broke a lot of crap. So much that Risk of Rain 2 YouTube creators are making bug tier list. Bug tier list. Are you crazy? Some of the more egregious problems are certain mechanics like enemy spawns and enemy fire rate being attached to FPS now. The higher your FPS is, the more enemies spawn. Why add this feature? That is so stupid. Items don't have outlines at times anymore, so you can't easily see what a rarity of an item is from far away. A lot of abilities are just broken and don't work properly. Sometimes enemies will spawn with so much health that you're shooting them for 5 minutes straight. And I've said this one already, but there is a bug that can wipe your save data because you plugged in a controller. There is just so much wrong with this DLC. There is so much crap that just broke. The entire game is a mess, which sucks because even if this DLC is meh at best, it's still fun because Risk of Rain 2 is fun. So yeah, fans aren't happy, the original creators aren't happy, I'm not happy. This whole DLC is just a mess, man, and currently, at the time of this recording, the DLC is sitting at 21% positive reviews on Steam and the main game at 42%. Do I recommend it? If all of it is fixed, it probably would be fun, but at the moment, no, I don't. It is so disappointing. This is what they did to one of my favorite games of all time. They basically threw it in the gutter, and it sucks. It just sucks. It makes me sad to see, man. But yeah, that's basically all I really have to say. They are most likely going to fix all of these issues in the coming months, but man, what a disappointing launch. But yeah, that's all I really got. So take care, guys, and bye-bye.